out the recording after we're done, of course, and so that you'll have this as a reference if you'd like it. I'm going to share my screen here and go back here. So today we are talking about short-term owner promotions. And really what this is just, it's a long title, a long name for basically growing a lot of owners in a short amount of time using some pretty concentrated activities. And really, who doesn't need a boost to their ownership growth, right? Well, let's talk a little bit more about what actually it is. And are you seeing my screen? Or are you seeing a calendar now? That is weird.
Oh, I see your screen.
Okay, well, something just weird happened on my end here. Let me get back to where we were. Okay, very well. So basically a short-term owner promotion is a defined period of time. So a very specific start and a very specific finish with an incentive of some sort that encourages ownership. And I like to include an if in a short-term ownership promotion. So the incentive applies if we reach our goal of X number of owners in X number of days. So an example of this is one that we'll look at here in a little bit, but 20 owners in 20 days, which is a short-term ownership promotion that Katie, who's on the call with us today from Whitewater, and I created some graphics about last year about this time. So it's basically growing 20 owners in 20 days from March 1st to March 20th and using some graphics and some specific messaging to achieve that goal. So very specific start and finish, very specific goal, very specific reward and incentive for participation, and a very specific communication plan. So let's talk in a little bit more detail about those pieces. So creating an incentive is really an important piece to this puzzle. So what is it that is going to make someone become an owner? And there's lots of things you can do, lots of ways you can go in terms of this incentive. One might be to partner with a local coffee shop, since we're all having our coffee together today. And everyone who becomes an owner this month gets a free cup of coffee if we reach our goal of 30 new owners this month, or whatever the goal is. You can also do it without the if. So every owner gets a free cup of coffee, regardless of if we hit our goal or not. I like the if because it incentivizes more participation and encourages that benchmark that we're trying to hit. You can also do something with a little higher price tag if you could get a partner to participate. And if you're going to partner with a local coffee shop, let me take a step back. A cup of coffee for 20 owners or 30 owners is not going to cost thousands of dollars. So in that case, it might make sense to offer to split that cost with the coffee shop, that you'll buy half the coffee and they donate half the coffee or something like that. That might be a good way to approach a partnership with a coffee shop. But you can also consider a higher dollar value. So this might be something that someone donates, or perhaps the co-op decides to invest in. Maybe it's a CSA share or a larger gift card to a local wine shop, or something that has a little bit higher price tag, $100, I would say, or better. And that would be a raffle of sorts that a door prize, everyone who's entered into, or everyone who becomes an owner during this time period would be entered to win this prize. And you do have to be careful about those things. States have regulations about raffles, and you want to make sure you're calling it the right thing in your state. Usually door prize is much more well received in terms of those kinds of rules. So be thinking about that. But once you know what your incentive is, then you want to define the specifics of your campaign. So you really want to have a specific start date and a specific end date and a very specific goal. So March 1st to March 20th, we want to grow 20 owners in 20 days, and have it very clearly defined and articulated. You also want to think about who's eligible to participate. So, if it's a raffle or a door prize, can a board member's spouse win? Can a board member's family member win, or a volunteer's family member? So just thinking through those absolute specifics for your campaign are important. And then finally, you want to have some graphics, create some graphics. And Katie, who's on the call here today, helped me create these beautiful graphics for the promotion. And these graphics are available on my website, and there'll be links in this presentation, which I'll send to you afterwards, directly to these graphics that are free to use. That's not a very good sentence and kind of hard to say. But they are available to you. And having graphics and consistently using those graphics are really important when you're doing a promotion like this. And also, please feel free to stop me at any time if anyone has questions or thoughts along the way, where this is a conversation, absolutely. So I want to hear from you. So creating graphics and using them strategically during this time frame is important. I recommend that your Facebook match, that everything coordinate. All of your social media pages have a banner. Your website has a banner. Your emails have a banner. They all are talking about this short-term promotion, and having the graphics to allow you to do that is important. And then you're going to write your content. So you're going to want to write a post. You need a post every day during your promotion about your goal. So every single day you want to be talking about this goal, this promotion, this campaign. And I would recommend that you're talking about it twice a day, that once a day you're talking about the promotion generally, like, hey, we want to reach 20 owners in 20 days. Help us by becoming an owner today. That could be one post. And then the second post of the day would be to celebrate the folks who have joined. So the second post would say, Roberta Summers just joined the co-op, and we're so happy to have her on our team. We're one step closer to reaching our 20 owners in 20 days goal. And really highlighting the people involved, because we all know when we're talking about social media, especially when there are people involved and pictures of people, those are the kinds of posts that really generate activity and interest. So you're going to want to write that content out. And when we get to the links, I have a sample calendar, a sample document of content written for this 20 owners in 20 days promotion that you can use. You can tailor it, download it, change it, use it for whatever purposes you want, but it is there for you to use. And it should be a really good springboard for you. And then once you've written your content, you've got your graphics, you have your incentive, your specifics, you really want to just shout it from the rooftop. You want to talk about this everywhere all the time. So I mentioned changing your cover images. Make sure your social media is coordinated. Your website reflects this promotion. Your newsletter includes it. Everything should really say, this is what we're doing right now. And you want to email too much. And I know sometimes we feel like that is uncomfortable for us, but really, these are the times that it's effective. We don't want to be spamming our ownership, and sending them bazillions of emails. We really don't. But in a time like this, a short, concentrated period of time, if they get more email from you than normal, they're gonna be okay with that. And really, someone told me once that when you recognize that people are complaining about your email volume, that's when you're emailing enough. And I was like, oh, interesting. And Shannon, it looks like you've got your hand raised. Why don't you ask your question?
Well, just when you're saying the emails, are you talking about emailing your ownership, or would you do your entire newsletter?
I would email both, Shannon.
Okay.
And I think I would have separate emails for each one. So when I'm consulting with cooperatives, one of the things I think is really important is to separate your ownership or separate your mailing list so that owners get a very different message than non-owners. Because as an owner, it's confusing, or maybe I don't know if unprofessional is the right word, but as an owner, when I get an email that says become an owner, I think to myself, well, don't they know I'm already an owner? I already gave them my money. So a message that is specifically for owners and a message specifically for non-owners. And you can tailor that, of course, to that audience, Shannon. Other questions? Okay, so we're going to email it too much. We're going to email too much. We're going to send out an announcement ahead of time, like a day or two before, and then weekly during this time period. So if it's 30 owners in 30 days, every week during that month, we're sending a weekly email with an update, telling them that the deadline is approaching. And then as we get closer to that deadline, you're going to email even more frequently. So like, let's say the campaign ends on Friday. I'm going to send an email on Wednesday that says, hey, you only have 2 days left. And then I'm probably going to send another email on Friday that says, hey, today's the day. And then I'm going to send an email on Saturday that says, oh my gosh, we did it. We hit our goal. And really, even if we didn't hit our goal, however much we grew is worth celebrating. So it's important that you don't see not reaching your goal as a failure or something to brush under the carpet. This is something to shout from the rooftops. Hey, we had a goal of 20 owners in 20 days and we grew 10 owners. We're so excited. That's 10 new people that have joined the community, and we couldn't be happier. All of it is worth celebrating. And then to keep in mind that you want to post every day. And I recommend 2 posts a day, as we talked about, one to share information about the campaign and the promotion, and then a second one that celebrates all the new owners who have joined. So now I'm going to ask Katie and Paula to share with us a little bit about short-term owner promotions. They both have used them in the last year, I think, right, guys? And so why don't you guys start by just telling us a little bit about your promotions and how you've used them. Katie, why don't you go first?
Hi, everybody. Katie at Whitewater Grocery Co. Let's see. We have done, well, in the past year, I think we did one major owner campaign. But otherwise, throughout the years, I think we've done maybe like 1 or 2 a year, and some of them are a little bigger and some are really small. The shortest we've done is 14 owners in 14 days. And we usually like to do that around Valentine's Day. So we can do it around the theme of like love up on your co-op or show the co-op some love or something like that. And we've actually found that some of the more successful ones have been the really, really short stints. It's such a small goal that, people can see happening pretty quickly. But the one that we did at the end of, was it the end? Yeah, it was the end of 2020 into 2021. We did the Owner Palooza. And that was just essentially trying to reach a milestone number for our co-op. And I think we were trying to reach, I have some of my graphics up in front of me so I can reference correctly, but I think we were trying to reach 700 owners. And we had a huge incentive, which was $700. We had multiple people who had donated to the campaign. And it did well, but we didn't reach our number. I think we were like 10 short. It was painful for how close we were, but still, like Katie said, it's one of those things where when the growth is growth regardless. So we didn't get to give away the money. We actually ended up using it for scholarships and stuff like that. So like there was no winner, but it still went to positive things. But yeah, one of the things that we have found is that it's really important to have the whole team on board for doing owner campaigns. Like whoever is tabling at the market needs to have, you need to have a graphic there, whether it's like a little flyer or something, and they're talking to prospective owners about the campaign. And then board members talking to their family, as well as the ownership and outreach team doing their thing on social media or out in public. Because the times where we haven't had everybody on board and we just have the social media person do all the graphics there, those are the campaigns where we haven't met our goals. The Ownerpalooza one, not really sure what happened there. We must have just ran out of time and hadn't grabbed enough people. But that one, we definitely were doing lots of newsletters and stuff like that. That's another thing. The other thing Katie mentioned with not emailing enough. Um, for sure, when people start to say like, how many more times am I going to receive an email about this campaign? That's when you know that it's working, because it's like, we're just trying to nudge you. Tell your friends and family. And then lastly, the thing I wanted, actually two things I wanted to share. Really strong graphics has been helpful when you can tell that not a lot of effort has gone into designing the graphics, then it's just less eye-catching. And then posting really regularly. The campaigns where we have posted constantly throughout the day, 3, sometimes 4 times if we're updating about stuff, are successful, whereas ones where we haven't had a lot of time, maybe in our volunteering, and it's like, oh, let's just post every couple of days about whatever new owner. Those are the ones that have definitely failed, because then nobody's excited. And I mean, if you're not excited, others won't be excited. And then lastly, what was I going to share? There was another thing. Maybe it'll come to me. Oh,
Okay.
it's been odd. The campaigns that we have had incentives have not been successful, and the ones that just had a number goal have been successful. So that's just an odd thing that I don't know if it's just like about how we've done things, but we've had money, something from as small as a bottle of wine all the way up to large amounts of money, and those have not been successful. So very weird.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Paula, why don't you share with us about what you guys have done at Cultivate Community Food Co-op? And we can't hear you, Paula.
Sorry.
There we go.
Sorry, my computer, for some reason, my camera is still not working. Tried to work on it last night. So yeah, we did both of the campaigns. We did the first one that Katie shared with everybody. I'm sorry, but I can't even remember the prize we gave them. Ugh, sorry, I can't remember, but I know we did. I know we had a prize. And then the second, so that was in March, we did that, and it was 20 owners in 20 days, and I believe we got 21. And then we did it again in October. We thought it would be good to do it for the month of the co-op and before the holidays came around. So that, again, we were toying between should we do 20 or 25. We just thought, let's just do 20 so that we'll have success. And we ended up getting 28 owners that month in October. So that's been great. The social media has been myself and my daughter. She may join us now at this time while we're talking, but she is working, so it might not work in her time frame because she's kind of mobile at work. But Dana Lee did all of the graphics, and then I would add the posting, the messaging. We did one every day. We made sure we did it every day. And to Katie's lead, all the graphics were created ahead of time. We did not do a second one with announcing the owners. We used a day to do that. So that's how we did it. But I do like the idea of, doing it all the time, every day when they come in. The second one, we gave away a one-night stay at a local farm.
Ah.
They're an Airbnb. It's a fabulous farm up here. I think down in LA, if you know the restaurant Cafe Gratitude, they have some up here in the Bay Area. They're the owners of Cafe Gratitude. They closed a lot of restaurants. There's a few open, and I believe down in LA, I think their son is doing that. And so now they've started this farm called Be Love Farm. And it's a fabulous place. They set it up as an Airbnb, and it's a regenerative, just a beautiful farm. So that might have been helpful. in getting people because we would be posting, we had videos about the farm and things like that. So that was pretty cool. We did not write specifics. This is what we'll do next time because I wanted to win, but we didn't even put, board members' names in it or anything. Oh, and another thing for that campaign, we had our owners' annual meeting also in October, on October 10th. And we set it up where instead of just the new owners being in the raffle, we also put in the existing owners who referred an owner. So we announced it we shared it at our annual meeting. So our annual meeting was on the 10th. So we had a couple of owners before the 10th that were included in the drawing. But from the 10th to the 31st, so it actually was 20 owners in 20 days because we started on October 11th. So it really was 20 owners in 20 days. And the incentive was if you bring in an owner. So then we would announce that also. Susie brought in, Bobby, and then in our next newsletter, we recognized all of the owners and all of the new owners and all of the existing owners that brought in new owners. So they also got their name in the raffle.
And how did you keep track of that, Paula? Just out of curiosity.
We said that they had to let us know that they referred them.
Okay.
So both had to let us know, the new owner and the existing owner. And it would just be, it might be even just be in a passing that an owner said, "Oh yeah, I brought in such and such."
Got it.
So, and then I would make note of that. I would
Okay.
make note of that on our spreadsheet. I also, since COVID started, as far as your different messaging, since COVID started, I would send out a semi-regular, I put on it, email to the owners. Just when I had something to say, something was coming up, something like that. So I was regular about messaging that, have you brought in a new owner and that kind of thing. So I believe there were like 5 owners that brought in new owners, and one of them brought in 2, her son and daughter. And then we also made sure that we did our farmers market that weekend. So then I think there was like 6. That first weekend we got like 6 at our farmers market. So all of that contributed. The farmers market, the existing owners, and just posting it like crazy.
Yeah, Paula, that basically it drives home the sentiment that you want to all be on the same team. Like Katie was saying, everything has to match. All of your social media, all of your newsletters, all of your tabling, all of your board members, everyone has to be on the same page at the same time. And your example really illustrates that.
Yeah.
Does anyone have questions for Katie or Paula or me, or other comments or suggestions about using these kinds of promotions? If you've used them or if you haven't, or you're scared, or tell us what you're thinking.
Oh, Katie, I just wanted to add that Dana Lee just joined us.
Oh, yay.
Somewhere. I thought I saw her. Oh, well.
Hi.
Oh, there she is.
Yes.
She has her mask on. Oh, that's my daughter, Dana.
Yeah.
So she did all the graphics.
Hi, Dana.
Hi. So sorry I'm late. I'm currently at work, so I was just doing a tour, but I'm glad I was able to jump on.
Awesome. Yes. Your mom was just telling us about the success that you guys have had with your promotions. From your perspective, can you tell us about the graphics you created? And Katie, I know you said you had some graphics up. Maybe you could share some of yours. And Dana, I don't know if that's an option for you or Paula, but.
Yeah, I don't know if I have them handy, but I could probably post them up. So yeah, in our experience, I would say our campaigns have been pretty successful. We did one in October that was I used similar graphics to yours as well. So we kind of made it our own thing for October to celebrate like Halloween and everything. But posting every day, like really regularly, I think had a huge impact because that really brought engagement. And then as well as the fact that we had like a giveaway. So we were able to give like one lucky winner a stay at Beloved Farm. So that was really cool. I think that got our owners pretty excited. So I think I want to say we got over the amount that we expected in October. We were shooting for 20 owners in 20 days. I think we got like 25 or 30, I believe.
28.
28, yeah. So it was really, really successful for us. I feel like typically we'll see maybe like 5 owners in a month. Sometimes it kind of depends on the month, but yeah, October was super successful, and so was the Spring into Growth one that we did last spring as well.
Dana, can I just add something? And Katie, Katie had a tagline for the one in spring. I can't remember. It was like "Step into Growth" or something.
Spring into growth.
Spring
Yes.
into growth. And so Dana and I, we thought we needed a tagline. So Dana came up with the really good tagline. Dana, what was it again?
We said boosting ownership challenge, and it was like BOO for Halloween.
Like
So,
Halloween boo.
Yeah.
Very clever, very cute.
yeah,
very
and I
catchy.
actually do have one of ours that I can pull up. I don't know if I can share my screen.
I think you
actually.
should be able to, Dana. I believe you can.
Okay, wait, got it. I don't know if you guys can see.
Oh,
this,
there you go.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was like the graphic that we created. I can see if I can pull up another. Are you guys still seeing the other graphic? I think so.
Yeah, we are. Now we see, Ryder, you have email.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I have a lot of photos. We did this one as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So it was kind of like I kind of went off the Spring into Growth graphics and kind of made a similar design, but like for October. So
Yes.
that
Yep.
was pretty. It was really. I think it was impactful that we like were able to plan it out ahead of time and like create all the graphics ahead of time, and then we were able to like schedule them. And we started like I think it was on like October 10th, so we wanted to end on Halloween Day. And I think that was really cool because then we could celebrate Halloween, and we also got to celebrate the fact that we just got 28 new owners. So even though we started like 10 days into October, we still were able to get 28 in 1 month. So that was pretty cool.
I think that's a good tip, Dana, is that you do this work ahead of time. You know, all of this is done really before you even get started, and then you can use a scheduling tool to help you stay on top of the posting. Of course, the new owner posts would have to be done more on a as needed basis.
Right. Yeah.
But getting a lot of that work out ahead of time is really helpful. Katie, do you have some graphics you'd like to share?
Sure. And yeah, piggybacking off of that, posting the owner updates, we always just make sure that whomever is doing the social media volunteering at the time has the free time to be able to stay on top of that. So we always check in about like, what is your capacity and can you post regularly when an owner comes in? Because then you can just like nail it right away.
Yep. Hey, and another thing to mention too is that you want permission from your owners before you post their name. I recommend that be part of your ownership application, getting their permission. You don't want to publicize their name if they don't want you to, but you can say we got another new owner. You don't have to say their name. You don't have to skip the post, but you just wouldn't mention the name.
For sure. This was our Owner Palooza flyer. And then this was Get Fired Up With Us was something we did in July. We did 30 owners in 30 days. And then Let's Bloom was a 30-day challenge in the spring, a year or two ago. This was, I think, our very first one we did, but this was the Show the GrowCo Some Love, 14 owners in 14 days. And this one we had the incentive of an Instant Pot, and people were very excited about the Instant Pot. So that was one of the really random ones that the Instant Pot was popular, but the $700 was not as popular. This is another Owner Palooza graphic. So, you know, we have, just like Katie was saying, having different graphics for different purposes. So this one was always the reminder graphic. And then we had another one that would say how many owners had joined. But those are some of the ones that we've done.
Okay, other thoughts or comments, questions?
I have a question. I guess I'm wondering, are both of your co-ops in the development phase then? You're not open stores yet? Okay. And so I think it was Katie, you said you've been doing one or maybe two major ownership drives per year?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think last year may have been the first year that we only did one, and it was just because of how different everything was for COVID. And or not last year, during 2020. That was the year that we had done the Owner Palooza at the end of the year, because we just felt like we wanted to be respectful of, I don't know, the owner campaign felt odd to us.
Okay. I'm just, yeah, that was interesting to hear, just because with my co-op, we've been, doing, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 per year. And they're not always as, major, like some of them, I feel like we have maybe 2 that are kind of where there's an incentive and we kind of put more effort into it. And then we've been doing quite a few just more low key ones as well. But I'm curious about, whether it'd be better to just put more effort into fewer of them. So that was interesting to hear.
I would say that you don't want to do them back to back to back. I think you want some space in between them. So I think a few a year, one a quarter seems to make perfect sense to me. Because that gives you time to plan and prep. And this takes some people power. You gotta have the volunteers to do this as well. So gives you a break in between and gives your ownership a break in the intensity of the communication as well. So I think quarterly would be a good goal to shoot for. And there was another question in the chat too about organizing roles on the promo team and advice on that. So Roberta, I think I would organize my team kind of around those the slides that I mentioned. So someone's in charge of obtaining the incentive. So they're working with partners, having conversations with the coffee shop or the farmer or whomever it is that you're reaching out to. And you have someone in charge of your graphics, you have someone in charge of your content, someone in charge of your posting, and kind of break it down based on the tasks that need to be done. That would be my recommendation there. And someone is asking if they could take a screenshot of our meeting. Yes, it's okay with me if it's okay with everyone else. And I think I would like to take a screenshot of our meeting too. So everyone look happy and excited and smiling and have your coffee maybe. Thank you guys. But I would like to, let's keep going with questions, though we have a little time. So are there other questions or thoughts or comments? Megan.
So our co-op here in Wyoming, we do a spring market and a fall market. And in our fall market, we had a member that kindly donated us $300 worth of beef from a local ranch. Yes. And that I attribute that is the reason that we got 19 new members during our fall market, and our fall market's only one day. So
that's awesome.
Yes, we were really excited about it. But I thought that was kind of neat that a big prize like that did bring in people, but it wasn't like a social campaign where people were actually able to come in. We were actually able to talk to them about it.
Got it. Got it. So what I'm learning, I guess, from everyone's experience here is that it matters what the prize is. I guess knowing what our owners or our community are looking for might help with our prize selection. Interesting. Very interesting. Some prizes are working really well and some aren't. But Chelsea, you have your hand raised.
Yeah. So my question has to do with I guess sort of like team like communication and agreement. Megan and I are the youngest at our co-op, and a lot of the older members aren't very they don't really like the idea of giving people incentives like Megan can kind of back me up on this. She had an idea to give out gift certificates for coffee at our public information meeting, and I felt like they kind of shut her down. A couple even told her that they think that people shouldn't need incentives to get on board with
Yeah.
our co-op, and we shouldn't do it, and they shouldn't like feel entitled to rewards, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I hear you. How many owners do you have at your co-op, Chelsea?
I think we currently have 262.
Okay. Okay. So it's a very good question. And it, it raises a larger issue about, communication and decision-making and things we could spend hours talking about, in co-ops and in the world in general. But what I would say, how I would answer that question, Chelsea, is to say that there's an adaptation curve. People are going to join the co-op at different points. And it takes 7 interactions at minimum, usually 7 to 9, they say, touches before someone is going to make the decision to join the co-op. And those touches are going to be different for everyone. So yeah, there are people who don't need incentives. And they're those 200 people who've already joined, honestly. They're the people who are in it to win it. And this is right up their alley and their game. But there are other people who they need a little more nudging and they need a little more encouragement, and incentives do work in terms of those later adapters. And I wouldn't say that you're to the late adaptation stage yet, but you need to begin thinking about those late adapters. And I might share this, these resources, this video with your board. Because we do see incentives working across the board, and sometimes they work, as we've seen here, and sometimes they aren't they're not the crux that makes someone make the decision. And there's also the budget concerns, so as a co-op, we're always concerned with the bottom line. We don't have money, we don't have resources. We're a startup, and so spending money is oftentimes a really hard decision for a co-op. So that may be where the board is coming from as well. But I certainly think there's a time and a place for the right kinds of incentives, the right encouragement to bring someone along that adaptation curve. Very good question.
Okay. Thank you.
Shannon, you have your hand raised as well.
Well, yeah, to that, incentive point, I think in general, you're going to have a variety of different people on your board and involved in your co-op. And it's really important to try a lot of different strategies because it is not uncommon that the bulk of volunteers are older. And so maybe they aren't as engaged with social media, but as we look at like our census data, for example, in our community, it's really skewing to a much younger demographic. And so when it comes to events and promotions, you do have to, whether you think you should have to or not, you really kind of do. And people do get off the fence with promotions. I think we find too, though, that if we do them too much, people expect a promotion and then they wait to join for one. So we usually do 1 or 2 a year. We do a 31 and 31 days for October every year for co-op month. And we always meet it. But they're a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so for us, we just really are finding like simple incentives tend to be best. And we use equal exchange in our area. our rep always gives us whatever we want for free. So we usually put together like a little bag of coffee, tea, and then she just gives us whatever random stuff she has, like hats or mugs or bags. And we just
awesome.
put together a little
Yeah.
bag, and they work well, and we don't spend money. But you do actually have to have volunteers that are in charge of that, because my entire living room would be full of those things for an entire month.
Oh, yes.
And,
Oh,
and then
welcome to
a
the
closet full
world.
of them. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But one thing that we've started recently, and that tends to work well for us incentive wise, is referral incentives. Our owners tend to be a more incentivized, I guess. It tends to be sort of the same ones, but at least they're reliable to bring in new owners. So we just started a referral program where people get a mug or a t-shirt, like the level, like the more people you refer, the cooler your gift is.
Ah.
And that's,
I like that idea.
That's actually been working really well, because it gets people, it pushes them a little bit to, one is increase our volunteerism at our tables, because they can bring in easily, win those things for that. And we did some door-to-door campaigns, and new people would come to that because they wanted a mug. I'm like, sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'd love to know, so those are just some things that have worked well for us, but I'm curious if anybody is planning on doing a February campaign, if you've had graphics that you're using for a February. We can't do events really right now with COVID. Our board really doesn't want to do much. And so it's a perfect time to do a 20 and 20 campaign. So I was just wondering if anybody already has graphics, and I won't reinvent the wheel, or if anybody wants to sort of share ideas around that specifically.
Yeah, Whitewater Grocery Co. plans on doing another 14 and 14 from Valentine's Day to the end of the month. So I'm not sure yet if our person is going to use our past graphics that we've done, so kind of revisiting that campaign, or if we're going to make new ones, but happy to share.
Thank you. Yeah.
We aren't doing one at Rooted Carrot Co-op this February, but we have done a Love Your Co-op campaign in the past, where we had a local chocolate shop donate a chocolate basket. I don't think it was the best incentive, and a lot of people were, doing it for that chocolate basket, but we did get a decent amount of owners, and I could look back at our graphics, see if I can find something for you.
Yeah, thanks.
I love cooperation among cooperatives. It makes me very happy. Bernadine, would you like to share a little bit about your February promotion?
Yes, we're coming up with something for our Black History Month. So we're trying to do a 28 owners in 28 days. So hopefully y'all pray for us that would go well, but we're just getting started. Katie, who helped us a lot, pushed us into gear to do this. So we're trying to make it happen. And prayerfully, the next time you guys come together, I'll be able to share some things with you. Thank you for all your ideas.
We'll be rooting for you, Bernadine.
Thank you.
And we've got lots of hands raised. So Dana, I think your hand was up first.
Yeah, I was just gonna add kind of about incentives. I was gonna say that I think it's kind of important that cooperatives also promote local businesses, and I think that's one way to justify an incentive. Just like promoting other local businesses, like not only brings awareness to them, they help promote us as well. It also kind of makes people realize that we're really about community and helping each other, which is why I think like having small incentives that help other businesses as well is really important. And I also wanted to share some other ideas that we actually haven't used yet for Cultivate Community Food Cooperative, but I've used for the apartment complex that I work at right now, and maybe some ideas that might help for future campaigns. And I actually was gonna suggest in doing this month, but one campaign that we did here was like we gave out succulents. So it was like a small little giveaway where like you plant succulents, and then people like put our like stickers on it. So it had like our name and stuff, and people would post it on social media, and then they would tag us, and we would be able to share that on our stories.
Love it.
And then another idea that I actually had today was for Valentine's is giving out Valentines and putting like a QR code on the Valentine that takes you to the website.
Oh, yeah.
So people can use, those are really cheap to make. Like, I'm sure you can just print out some heart shapes and like maybe say like from like Cultivate Community Food Cooperative, Happy Valentine's Day. And then on the back has a QR code, and maybe be able to also like connect that QR code to Google Forms or something, so you can see what areas are really utilizing those QR codes the most.
Yes, I love that. That's a fantastic idea. That could be a really nice door-to-door campaign. You know, if you had a specific neighborhood you wanted to focus on. Love it.
Yeah.
You know, that brings up another point I'll mention real quick before we move on to your question, Megan, is that when you have a partnership with a local business, and I agree, I echo that partnering with a local business or cooperative business like Equal Exchange makes the most sense, but make sure you're tagging them and giving them praise and recognition on Facebook or on social media in general in your newsletter, and letting them know that up front. That's leverage you have when you go to them and say, hey, I want to partner with you, and we have a plan to tag you in X number of posts and include you in X number of emails. That's free advertising for them, and it's worth a lot of money to a business. So make sure that you include that. And that when you look at the content calendar, you'll see that I mentioned that, but I want to just talk about it as well. Megan, your question, please.
Yes, I had a question about Shannon. She said that that her co-op was really doing member incentives to member referrals. Have you found a way that's like easiest to keep track of that? Because I think our board is a little hesitant to do that because we're worried that it's going to be a really in-depth process.
So what we've done is on our owner application, we ask, how did you hear about us? And then we'll say, if you were referred by another owner, please state their name, because we offer referral incentives. So we want them to tell us the name, but we also want them to also refer. So we let them know that there's rewards for referring, and then they put their name. But on our referral materials, we do clearly state that the person has to put their name on that owner form. There's no like coming back to us 6 months down the road and saying, but I referred this person, because oftentimes people actually put a different name on the application of the person that referred them, right? Because they probably heard about it from 2 or 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're trying to actually incentivize is getting people to literally sign someone else up, not to casually mention the co-op, not to say you should do it and then try to claim it as a referral, but to say like, you should sign up, here's how you do it. And they send them the website. We tried building, a volunteer was trying to build a system that would track it, sort of like how you track referral points you get from, you know, if you buy makeup or skincare or whatever kind of things. But it just is sort of proving way more complicated than having people write it on their owner form. And then our treasurer will just go through at the end of every month and pull the names and uses a spreadsheet. And we have a 5-tier system. For one person, you get a coffee cup. Refer 2, you get a hat. For 3, you get a t-shirt. 4, you get a free pass to one of our events. And 5, you're invited to an exclusive store preview when we open our doors.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. I deeply appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's working pretty well. We haven't been able to promote it as much as we would in non-COVID times, because we're sort of relying on social media and then our one annual meeting or whatever. And then we've got an event table, or, you know, but we're just, but we actually, I don't know the exact number. I wish I did actually, but we do have quite a few referrals. And then in this February campaign, I think we'll be able to really actually capitalize on that.
Excellent. I can't wait to take that to the board. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll send you a photo if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it here, but if you want to see the photos, I'll show you. I'll put the link in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Susan, thanks for waiting patiently.
Sure.
What's your question?
Yeah, I had 2 ideas maybe for February. This isn't the greatest time for that, but maybe in the future, you could have like a romantic dinner for two at a local
Oh.
restaurant, and perhaps they would even donate the dinner
Mhm.
for the publicity. And the other thing was, I was just thinking, my dentist, if you refer somebody to my dentist, he will send you a $25 gift card for a local supermarket. Well, it wouldn't have to be a supermarket, but it is here, like for Meyer Supermarket in Michigan. So I referred my sister-in-law and I got a $25 gift card. And so that's another idea. Those were my two ideas.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Do we have any other comments or questions? All right, I'm going to show you guys some resources real quick here before we wrap up. If I can find the right screen. Here we go. So on my website, you'll find a lot of resources, and I'll put a link to them in the chat, but I'll also send them out afterwards. So there are resources for everything you need to run a 20 owners in 20 days campaign. And I checked this, the campaign that we created last year about this time was centered around the spring equinox. So the spring equinox is March 20th. And so this year it is March 20th. I don't know if it's the same day every year, or if that just happens. That shows my ignorance, but it is March 20th this year. So you could just use these very same graphics and this very same content this year and make it work for you. So there's a list of sample content and a content calendar that's available on my website, as well as a list of my tips and tricks, basically all the things that we've talked about today, and a link to the graphics. So I'm going to stop sharing this and start sharing something else here. Let's find this. Get out of there. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so if you come to my website, you'll see this Grow 20 Owners in 20 Days. And there are lots of links here. So the step-by-step instructions, there's even a video here by Katie from Whitewater on how to customize those graphics in Canva. So if Canva is not something you're familiar with, there's a short video there to kind of walk you through how to customize the graphics that we have available. And those graphics can be found here, and it'll take you to a Pixie Set link where you can download all of these graphics and use them for your campaigns. If you do decide to do a 20 and 20 in March. And then there is a content calendar available to you as well. So this is a spreadsheet that's going to take a minute to open. Sorry about that. The first tab of the spreadsheet is just the calendar, basically telling you what to post every day, a daily post and a new owner post. And then there's a tab, a corresponding tab at the bottom of the calendar. And it gives you a list of possible posts. So the first column is the content, a link to the image you can use, a tip if I've got one, and what you might consider linking to. And the same goes for new owner posts. So these are just some sample posts and how you can celebrate your new owners, and the graphics that you would use, and any tips that might be helpful or relevant there. So this is all available free on the website, and you're welcome to have it. I hope you use it. I hope you grow lots of owners and that it's wildly successful. And I'm going to put a link to the chat, a link in the chat to that. And how are we doing on time? 57, look at us, right on time. Okay, any other final questions or thoughts?
Quick question.
Yeah.
If we used the Spring into Growth campaign last spring, do you think it's too repetitive to do it again this year?
That's a good question. My gut tells me no. I think you could do it again. I mean, it is spring. We are growing. I don't see a downside, but does anyone else have a thought?
I was gonna say we've done 30 in 30 days in June campaign. And we did it for probably 4 years in a row and pretty much hit our goal every time. And it was always a giveaway. The first 2 times was a bicycle, the second 2 times was a kayak. And we just got a discount from a local business on both of those. And so it really worked. And so I think, yeah, they'd do it again. People look forward to it every June.
Consistency or predictability, I think, is kind of a good thing.
I agree. Yep. I agree. Well, if you guys, I have one last request here. We have 2 minutes left that I'm making a video that I don't know how I'm going to use it yet, but I would like to use us in our video. If you guys are in my video, I should say, if you guys are okay with it. So, if we could, if you're interested, stay on the line and I'm going to just have us all say something together. And of course, this is being recorded, so we'll take it out or snip it out. But if you'd rather not participate, you're free to drop off right now. But thank you guys all so much. It's my pleasure to spend time with you and hear how you're doing and learn from you all. This is as much co-learning as it is me sharing what I've learned. And so I appreciate you all, and we'll do more of these. I plan to do one a month for the remainder of the year at least. So watch for my newsletter and you'll get a link there. So one of the videos I'm making is for my client Rooted Carrot. Melanie's on the phone with us today. One of the videos I'm making. So the first thing I'd like to record, or which we are recording, is for us to say, "Go Rooted Carrot." Okay, so I'm gonna count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we all say, "Go Rooted Carrot." Wait, I'm gonna count to 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm gonna pause, and then we're gonna say it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, pause. Go Rooted Carrot.
Go Rooted Carrot. Okay.
All right. Everybody's unmuted, right?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Go
Rooted Carrot. Okay, I think
again.
we need to try it again. We need to try it
Again,
again.
I did too soon. Sorry.
The pause is what's throwing us off. Okay. 1, 2, 3, pause. Go Rooted Carrot.
Okay. Oh, I was all
here we go.
ready for that.
Sorry. That was just our practice. Okay. This is for real. Okay, ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Go Rooted Carrot. Okay, that was good. And then the next one is We Love Co-ops. Okay, 1, 2, 3, pause. We love co-ops. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We love co-ops. Okay, good. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day.
You too.
Thanks,
All right.
Katie.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.